Hello everyone, Zellerant here, and for today's video on Umamusume, we're going to be talking about poll priorities, but this is going to be coming from a new player perspective, so kind of taking the assumption that you're starting right now or may have just started not that long ago, and kind of what I think you should do at this point going forward to kind of get yourself up and running when it comes to being able to actually build your Umas and compete in the Champions meeting. Now, we are in a very unique scenario compared to some of my previous videos, as we are right into the start of like the half anniversary, and we are going to be getting a bunch of free polls on this banner right here, the Rico, Kashimoto, and Rice Shower banner. And so with that, you definitely don't want to miss that. So when it comes to like re-rolling and stuff, you really only have two opportunities. If you're starting like right now and you're willing to start re-rolling right now, you do have the special week Guts and Tokai Teo Speed one you can reroll on, but my advice actually would be, if you're willing to wait a couple more days, we have the Nice Nature and Tosin Jordan card dropping. And one of my strategies for a new player at this point, what I would say is if you're brand new and we have the second scenario starting, you're just being new, you're going to struggle right off the bat no matter what you do, because you're new. You're going to have to start getting your stockpile of your SR support cards, eventually getting some SSR ones. And so as a new player, my advice would be to kind of write off the second scenario in terms of trying to become competitive. It just takes time to build up your account to be competitive on the champions meeting on the graded version. You will be able to be competitive on the open one because you're limited to a B rank Uma, which you should be able to do with what you're going to be able to do here. And my advice would be to re-roll on the Nice Nature banner, because this is actually a very good card for the third scenario. And without going too much into the details, the third scenario wants you to have a lot of what's on the card called race bonus, because you do a lot of racing in that one. And most of the decent cards have 10%, but this one has 15%. Now, for a lot of veteran players, it's a bad idea to pull on it because they're trying to set themselves up for success on the second scenario. But because you're already far behind, you're already going to suffer a struggle on the second scenario. This was what you can re-roll on, and my target would be to try and get 3 copies of it, because that then takes you to Limit Break 2. And right before the third scenario drops, or right around there, we'll have a rerun of it, and you'll have a very good shot at that point to actually MLB it, which will give you a very good card going into that third scenario. So that's the banner I would say to reroll on if you're willing to do rerolls, but I don't think it's completely necessary. Because here's kind of the idea I have for a new player if you're starting new now and you don't want to deal with rerolling, and that is you just start, and once the Rico banner drops here in like a week and a half, you just do your 100 pulls on there. You're going to get, there are 100 free pulls. You'll hopefully get a few SR cards. They're hopefully like a speed one. You get a stamina one. You should hopefully get an MLB or close to it rare Rico card. And that'll actually set you up, in my opinion, for success to at least build Umas within the second scenario. Now, you're not going to be able to compete, like I said, on the graded champions meeting, but you might be able to make something or scrap something together for the open, which then can get you carrots there. And at this point, your only goal for the second scenario is to just start working on kind of grinding out parents and getting the gameplay loop down of the careers, start developing parents, and focus on the idea of being ready to be competitive going into the third scenario. And with that, you'll actually want to most likely just skip everything. Unless you have like an Oshi favorite Uma within this patch I'm about to show, skip everything here until the Kita-san Black banner, which will be coming here in a couple months. It's about the same amount of wait time that we had to wait for Kita-san Black to drop when the game actually launched. And so a lot of us, myself, I did 40 pulls and I waited for Kita-san Black to drop. It was a pain in the butt dealing with the cards that I had, because I only did 40. But I made it work, and I was able to complete the careers. I was able to try and farm parents. Not the best, but it worked. And that's kind of the same scenario you'll be in, but you'll get 100 pulls that are completely free, so you're not going to spend any of the carrots they give you. And you're going to be able to wait all the way to here, and you might have like 90,000 carrots at this point, which will be plenty enough to MLB the Kita-san Black card. And like, you have like a 99% chance to. I mean, I can't say it's guaranteed, but a very, very high chance to MLB it at that point. And that'll be going into the third scenario, sitting on hopefully a ton of good cards, and then you can actually be competitive. Now, there's a couple other things you're also going to get as a new player going into this half anniversary as well. Not just all the carrots they're going to throw at you that I'm telling you to hopefully just hold on to that Key to Sun Black banner. I know it'll be stressful to not want to, but even if you do pull it on a banner, you're still going to struggle, and that's why I think it's best to hold off. But you're also going to get a selector for an SSR support card. And that I'm going to say to hold on to until you pull on that Key to Sun Black banner. And the reason for that is you have no idea what random losses you're going to get, because you have that 3% rate to get an SSR, but only a 0.75% chance to get the Key to Sun Black. All the others will be different support cards. And you don't want to use that selector for something else that you're not going to currently be able to use because you can only have it at 0 limit break. And all the SSRs are pretty terrible at 0 limit break. And you may end up MLBing, and then that whole thing went to waste. And so all you do is just hold on to it, pull on the Key to Sun Black banner, see what you end up with. Maybe you end up with like 2 limit break Super Creek for some reason. If you have 2 limit break Super Creek, use that selector and bring it right up to a 3rd limit break, and you're going to be good to go. And so that's kind of my thoughts on this at this point. There's nothing too crazy in between these banners here that you have to worry about. It's gonna be a little bit of a struggle. It's just like the start of the game for all of us that are veteran players, where we struggled for a little bit waiting for that big banner. I think if you want to really pull for an Uma, you're gonna get the Uma tickets. You're gonna start off with some 3 stars, with the one that they let you select one of the debut ones. And then if you're willing to spend, we're gonna have 2 banners that guarantees an SSR Uma and an SSR support card. Those would be actually very, very good purchases for you as a new player, because you don't have SSR support cards. So whatever you get is something new, and you could be very lucky and be something like a Fine Motion, Super Creek, or Key to Sun Black, or something else that has some value that can help you out. As well as the SSR Uma one, which will give you one of the random Umas out of all of them that have come up to the summer point. And so that could get you a very good Uma as well to start. It's not just the debut ones, it's all of them included in there. And so that's pretty much, I think, what the plan would be for anybody that is brand new. I would try and avoid going crazy on any of these other banners between it, unless, like I said, you actually want one of these specific Umas because you just like them. Because if you can hold on until the Key to Sun Black banner, save your carrots, do that, like, most likely it's only going to be like 400 pulls needed in a lot of cases to MLB her. Once you do that, then you have like some other big banners here depending on what you want. The Ogre Cap Christmas, I would think you still would have enough pulls to get her. You should be good there. At that point, you're kind of set up, and then you have a little bit of time before there's any other big pulls that are like must pulls, and you just kind of have to deal with whatever you have at that point to make the decisions from there. And you can kind of just follow my other videos that kind of talk about priorities depending on what cards you have. Because the farther we get into this game, like farther and farther we get, as we become more veteran players, our support card decks are starting to get more and more varied. And so it's getting to be more of a personal decision on what you need to do at that point. So there's really not much advice I can give after Key to Sun Black, because your deck's going to be a very wide variety of cards that I can't really predict what you're going to get. So that's pretty much the plan as a new player. Just kind of wait until that point, pull there, and then just kind of hopefully you've learned the game at that point and kind of can figure out your needs and just follow either my guides or other people's guides when it comes to like the 3rd scenario coming up to figure out what you need from there. But yeah, that's pretty much it for now. And if you like my content, if you could like, comment, and subscribe, it really helps. And thanks for watching.